Today, we have realized that not only does peace require justice, but the time for waiting for those in power to provide that justice has passed. It is time for people to create and implement ways of addressing the current social, economic, and ecological crises ourselves.
Hello, my name is Stanley Heller. Welcome to the Struggle Video News. Our featured story today is about the winner of the Gandhi Peace Award for 2023. We'll get to that later in the program. First, video about a 12-year-old Palestinian girl describing her arrest by heavily armed Israeli soldiers. We get the video from Middle East Eye.
قامت في منها حامل سكينة من هون، شفتوا سكاكين عنا هون إحنا.
حسيت إني أبعدت من أهلي، خفت منهم كتير، تعبت منهم بس بعرفش ليش إجوا. كان معهم أبوي قاموا وقفوني بس أنا قلت شو في ليش هيك وقفوني. أنا وإخوتي كنا قاعدين بنلعب تحت، فهيك بلش علينا بالحجار، كان الجيش عندهم، فهيك في مستوطن شافني قال ماسكة سكينة طلت عن الأرض، بس أنا ما طلت سكينة عن الأرض، قلت له أني سكينة ما كان معي أي سكينة اللي بتحكي لي عنها، بيحكي لي جيبيها بس أعطيها للجندي وبخليه يطلعك، إذا ما جبتيهاش مش رح أخليه يطلعك.
خلاص تعالي
خليه يتركه بدي اخذ اختي انا بدي اختي انا فيش كله تمام بدي اختي انا بدي هيك تيجي عندي
الاحتلال والجيش بيتعاملوا مع الاطفال بعنف مش طريقه انسانيه هاي ولا عمرهم بيكون هدول من الانسانيه. اخذنا انا والبنت ونزلنا على ورا المحسوم، فانا طلعني برا المحسوم وخلى البنت عنده جوا، فانا عرضت وقلت له كيف بدك تاخذ البنت جوا؟ قال لي بدي اخذها جوا وانت ما إلك بلاش احبسك. لما انا ضليت ورا البوابه تقريبا نص ساعه زمان هم يحققوا مع البنت، جنود اسرائيليه عاديه.
احنا ما بنقدر نطلع من برا الدار لانه الدار يلي قاعدين فيها السجن، يعني احنا سكرنا كل شبابيكنا بس عشان بتهمونا انه بنرمي عليهم حجار من الشباك، بس احنا كل شبابيكنا مسكرين. اعتدوا علينا كتير واخذوا ابوي كتير، يعني مرة اخذوه وحطوا عليه الفلفل، يعني كتير اعتدوا علينا من ايام الطفولة وانا فيها.
هم بيحاولوا بالطريقة تبعتهم انهم يستفزوا اطفالنا، بيستفزونا في قلب بيوتنا. هذه طريقة مخططة من هذا الاحتلال ومن هدول المستوطنين على تهجيرنا من هون وبعدنا من هذه البيوت. أنا بحكي بشكل واضح بشكل رسمي، إحنا ما بنرحلش من هون، إحنا صامدين هون ولا بنتحرك من بيوتنا، هذه أرضنا.
I've been a union member of the American Federation of Teachers for over 50 years, first as a classroom teacher in West Haven, Connecticut, and then as a member of a retired teachers chapter. Unfortunately, the National American Federation of Teachers has been a strong supporter of the Israeli government, even when it banned education of Palestinians during the first Intifada, or in 2006, when a number of us tried to get the AFT to condemn the then ongoing Israeli attacks on people in Lebanon. In 2009, I wrote to the union and asked how much in Israel bonds the AFT held. The answer was it held 2 bonds, worth a total of $300,000. I asked again this year through the union's own website over a month ago, and I've received no answer. AFT National President Randi Weingarten last week went on a trip to Apartheid Israel. She has a Twitter feed which she uses for union news and political observations. Here are 3 tweets she made on her trip. She went to a demonstration to preserve the political rights of Jews in the face of attacks by religious Zionism. That's what she said on her tweet. Not a word about Palestinians. You know, of course, about the war inside Sudan being waged by different official military factions. Hundreds of Sudanese civilians have been killed by this utterly stupid conflict. Not mentioned much in the corporate media is the fact that these men have been armed to the teeth by regional military powers such as Saudi Arabia, UAE, Egypt, and Israel, and that these, of course, are staunch allies of Western governments. Also, the fact that Putin has been courted by both sides under the promise that he might get a military base in Sudan. Sudanese civilians are not silent. Revolutionary forces have issued statements and are acting. Among the demands being raised in Sudan are calls not just for a ceasefire, but for the demilitarization of Sudanese cities and residential areas. Imagine they have military bases right in the middle of big cities. Resistance committees are also leading practical support on the ground, despite the danger, organizing medical aid and food supplies. Now to a country that was once part of Sudan, South Sudan. On ABC News, David Muir did a heart-rending report on how climate change has devastated a large region of the country, an area with over 1 million people. He shows how some mothers are going into lakes, into this new waters, and reaching down for the hearts of water lilies to feed their children. There have been historic floods in the areas for 4 years, and the water doesn't recede. We'll link to the video at rpm.world, and we urge you to watch. But we have a big criticism. Muir uses the word climate change repeatedly, and that's to his credit. But he never talks about why there is this climate change. It's us, the industrialized countries, that have been recklessly burning fossil fuels, that continue to explore it in this time of climate emergency. We are devastating those people. Now to news about the Gandhi Peace Award winner and the upcoming ceremony on Saturday, May 13th. A few days ago, we went to the Stetson Library inside the Q House in Dixwell Avenue, New Haven, to announce the winner of the award and to give community activists a forum to talk about their concerns. The prize comes with this medallion made of peace bronze, metal created from melted down elements of nuclear weapons. It also comes with a $5,000 check. The ceremony will take place at the Q House at 197 Dixwell Avenue in New Haven on Saturday, May 13th. It's entirely free. We're here to announce the winner of the 2023 Gandhi Peace Award.
Over the years, Promoting Enduring Peace has realized that creating enduring peace requires social justice. Decades ago, the board voted to give this award to Martin Luther King Jr., Reverend Lucius Walker Jr., Cesar Chavez, Daniel Ellsberg, and recent recipients, including the Palestinian boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement founder Omar Barghouti and peace activist Kathy Kelly. Today, we have realized that not only does peace require justice, but the time for waiting for those in power to provide that justice has passed. It is time for people to create and implement ways of addressing the current social, economic, and ecological crises ourselves. We need strategies that put the power directly into the people's hands, especially those most severely impacted, disenfranchised, and disempowered. In recognition of that paradigm shift, this year's Gandhi Peace Award recipient has been chosen for creating an innovative way of addressing those issues through collective action on the local level, combined with a broader long-term strategy for regional, national, and global change. This year, Promoting Enduring Peace is very proud to announce that we will give our Gandhi Peace Award to Kali Akuno and Cooperation Jackson. In Kali Akuno and Cooperation Jackson, we have found a community of activists who exemplify our organization's mission of creating peace on Earth and peace with Earth. Kali and his fellow members of Cooperation Jackson are creating a model for how the rest of us might be able to achieve that goal by transforming our communities on the local level and then linking them together to create a new system that provides for human and ecological needs and also recognizes the interdependence between the two. Based in Jackson, Mississippi, one of the nation's poorest cities, Cooperation Jackson is a Black-led, semi-autonomous community with a visionary plan called the Jackson-Cush Plan, which will build Black autonomy throughout the U.S. South and eventually challenge and replace the current political and economic systems with a new system rooted in mutual aid, food sovereignty, community care, ecological regeneration, collective self-governance, land reclamation, community-controlled production, and cooperative and solidarity economics through its People's Network for Land and Liberation. Historically, Black people in the United States have suffered and continue to suffer extreme housing, employment, healthcare, education, and food quality discrimination, in addition to being the victims of police brutality and resegregation and enslavement through the criminal injustice system. Additionally, Black communities are highly vulnerable to the effects of climate change due to collapsing infrastructure and insufficient disaster relief aid caused by lack of public investment in these communities, and also the fact that they are often located in vulnerable ecological zones. Black communities are also the victims of environmental racism, as polluting industries locate themselves in regions where local populations are the most disempowered to push back against these corporate crimes. In response to these injustices, Cooperation Jackson's Fannie Lou Hamer Community Land Trust buys and restores vacant lots, abandoned homes, and unused business locations in order to remove them from real estate speculation and make them available to the community via creating off-grid housing that produces energy and treats waste on site, parks, playgrounds, co-ops, business spaces, and other communal uses. To address both economic inequality and the climate crisis, its impact on Black and other marginalized communities, Cooperation Jackson has created the Sustainable Communities Initiative, a Green New Deal for Jackson City. Its green team provides quality living wage jobs in ecological regeneration and community renewal. From running a worker-owned farm-to-table catering company and co-op, to creating community food gardens and providing a time bank to address both economic inequality and the climate crisis and its impact on Black and other marginalized communities. Cooperation Jackson has created the Sustainable Communities Initiative. a Green New Deal for Jackson City. Its green team provides quality living wage jobs in ecological regeneration and community renewal. From running a worker co-owned farm to table cafe and catering company to creating community food gardens and providing a time bank system where local residents receive fresh produce in exchange for volunteering. Kali also served as co-director of the U.S. Human Rights Network and executive director of the New Orleans People's Hurricane Relief Fund after Hurricane Katrina. Additionally, Kali co-founded the School of Social Justice and Community Development, a public school serving the academic needs of low-income Black and Latinx communities in Oakland, California. We believe that Kali and Cooperation Jackson are creating the conditions for a truly enduring peace on and with Earth, and we could not be more proud and honored to help them with that mission.
Now it's my privilege to introduce Attorney Michael Jefferson, who is founder of the Kiyama movement, and you can see this wonderful banner here in the back that belongs to that movement. He's also been clerk of the Connecticut Senate for the past several years. Michael Jefferson.
Thank you, Stan. I have a very brief statement that I want to read. It's a beautiful honor here. I want to say good morning. I want to first thank Diane Brown for her generosity in making this space available. Those of you who are in New Haven and who have yet to see the Stetson Library, I invite you to come on down. It's a beautiful facility, and Diane has just done a wonderful job in her duties as director of this facility. Under her leadership, Stetson Library has always been and remains a true hub of New Haven's Black community. I want to congratulate Kali Akuno and Corporation Jackson on being this year's recipient of the Gandhi Peace Prize. I'm sure he is truly deserving of this honor. I would like to also acknowledge the Connecticut-based organization Promoting Enduring Peace for their extensive advocacy for peace throughout the world, and God only knows we need that in these days and times. I want to thank Stanley Heller and his organization for all they do in fighting for justice in the Middle East, more specifically the state of Israel. I also want to recognize Barbara Fair, a friend, a dear friend, I should say, and someone who's been on the front lines here in New Haven and across this state for all the work she has done and is doing in fighting for justice here in the state of Connecticut. A little about the Kiyama movement. The Kiyama movement is a movement that promotes self-improvement for Black males of all ages. Currently, we are involved in two initiatives. Mentoring, that's a program primarily aimed to combat chronic absenteeism in the New Haven public schools. And Black Men Vote Too, which is aimed at encouraging Black males of voting age to participate in the electoral process as sophisticated voters. As I was explaining to Barbara earlier, one of the things we want to do is send informed voters to the poll, not simply folks who go out and do someone else's bidding. It's important that folks go to the poll and are informed before making their decisions. We need this organized political clout in order to move our agenda forward. And Black males, unfortunately, is the one demographic that's among all demographics least likely to participate in the electoral process, and we're trying to change all of that here in the state of Connecticut and throughout the United States, with the help, of course, of so many groups in their respective states. I encourage you to visit our website to learn more about the movement. It's listed here, KiyamaMovement.com. And again, I want to thank Stanley, and again, congratulate Kali Akuno of Corporation Jackson. for being honored this year with the Gandhi Peace Prize. I thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michael. These projects you're working on sound very interesting. Now Barbara Fair, who has been one of the leaders in the movement to end the torture of solitary confinement. She's one of the leaders of Stop Solitary. Barbara Fair.
Good morning, and thank you, Stan, for inviting me today. And congratulations to the winner of the Gandhi Peace Award. My name is Barbara Fair. I am lead organizer for Stop Solitary Connecticut. We are an organization, grassroots, who really came together to end isolation in Connecticut's jails, prisons, and youth facilities. We started out really just to get our prisons to at least be up to Mandela rules, which is the international rules around what is the minimum standards of care for people that we hold in custody. And opening up that canon, we realized there are so many other things that need to change about our jails and prisons and youth facilities. This year we are fighting, first of all, to enforce Protect Act, which was supposed to end the extended isolation of people in prisons and jails and youth facilities. We got the law passed, but enforcing it is a whole different thing, and so we're continuing to fight to enforce that law is adhered to. On top of that, I recently found out about strip searching that goes on in these facilities, and like I said, pay attention that these are happening to our children as well. And what I thought was strip searching was just, you have to get nude and cough, because that's what they've always said it was about. But actually listening to people tell their stories at a public hearing, I found that strip searching was a lot more disgusting to me than I ever thought. Women and men said they're asked to get nude, and on top of that, women have to lift their breasts, men have to lift their testicles. You have to bend at the waist, and so that they can look up your vagina and your anus. If you're menstruating, women have to take out tampons. I think this is totally disgusting. The Commissioner of Corrections say this is about safety and security. In reality, we feel it's about power and control, the ultimate control of one's body. That once you're in the custody of the state, they can pretty much do what they want to do to you. If you refuse to do any of these things, you are put in isolation. And so we are very, very, really aggressively pushing to end this practice in jails and prisons. The American Bar Association has actually put out a piece of, well, it's not a piece of a lecture, but it's more like they put out a policy that says, for at least for children, this is so traumatic that strip searches should never happen to children. That's number one. And when you think about it, these are children, vulnerable children from our communities who may have had some history of child abuse, sexual abuse, and then to ask them, well, not ask, demand that they have to do this. And they may be doing it several times a week, could be happening twice daily. We're finding out from some of the men that testified that the correctional officers can walk into a gym and just pick out certain guys and say, you come and you have to endure a strip search. And it's just something that we need to end. So we put forth a bill, SB 1196 this year. We were hopeful that it was going to pass. And all we asked in that bill was at least have probable cause for making people have to go through this experience. And what ended up happening by the time the bill came out of Judiciary Committee, it was just a bill saying the commissioner has to next year to come up with some kind of report on body scanners, which we recommended that they at least look into. So for us at Stop Solitary, we completely reject that bill that they're trying to pass now. It's not our bill, because all it is to us is a reason to not do anything this year, and then maybe next year give us some kind of report. This practice needs to stop now. And I actually wrote an op-ed about how, the commissioner said just about safety and security. How do we keep the prisons from getting drugs and contraband? In my op-ed, I listed several officers who have been arrested already for bringing drugs and other contraband inside of our prisons. So if we're going to be strip searching incarcerated people, we need to be strip searching the correctional officers. Officers have been arrested, so they can't even deny that it's happening. We had a recent officer who just last month was arrested for filming a young girl undressing in a store. So, this voyeurism, we don't know if it began, did he bring that into the prison, or has it become a part of what he's doing on a daily basis? So it's a lot to be said about Stop Solitary's work, but that's what we're working on this year. And because the governor is refusing to sign the bill that we put forth, we are looking to some attorneys to come up with a civil class action. We will not allow this to continue. So I'm going to leave it right there, but you can go on our website, stopsolitaryct.org, and see all the work that we're doing, and you can become a part of that work, because we need a lot of people to be able to change what's going on in Connecticut today. And I thank you very much, Stan, again for inviting me to speak.
Finally, coming up on Sunday, April 30th, Russian exile Ilya Budrykis speaking on the question, is Russia fascist? See rpm.world for details. That's our program for today. See you next week at this time. I'm Stanley Heller for the Struggle Video News.